Hey guys, the reason this looks like this is because I've now crashed Modler 3 times. What we are attempting to do is to start the detail sections of this. So to get this to this stage, what I did was I took our base default 1, 2, 3, pasted them on a new layer, smooth shifted them out 25 centimeters. That gave us this. Now we need to actually have a couple of these sections raised up and separate to everything else, which is all well and good, except for that in doing how we've done this, it's causing some problems. So we're just going to try and raise just this section, but first off we're going to fix a couple of polygons in the hope that it stops the crashes that I'm having. So we just closed out this polygon here. Now we're going to multiply, multi-shift, and 5mm, and we didn't have a crash, which is always a good start. And we actually want to delete all these. I've done the shift too small. 25mm, insert shift, 2.5mm, 27mm. Okay, so that gives us one raised zone here. Save so we don't lose it. Get in here. I want to break this poly apart again. Make certain that it's actually broken. Good. Now we want to select all these edges again. Multi-shift and quick restore. Close, multi-shift off. So that's 2 done. Split the poly. Grab the rest. Break the poly, grab the rest. Jump up, grab this set. Now we need to do these 4 race sections. we're actually just going to do the exact same one that we just did. Now we come back here, I want to select just default. I'm going to take this, I'm going to merge, and we're just going to have a quick look for anything that looks like it didn't merge properly. It looks like everything's good, so now we can start grabbing all these edges. Now, depending on who you ask, you're going to get different opinions on if the way I do this is right, if it's wrong. It's a personal choice thing. Find a method that works for you for detailing out hull plating and things like that, and use it. There is really no right or wrong method. Andrew Com has, or had, I don't know if he's still got it online, a really good tutorial on the method he uses for making hull plating. Foundation 3D has some tutorials on the method that people over there use. But yeah, generally let's just find a method that works for what you want. So we're going to make certain we've got all the edges we want selected here, which it looks like we do. Control B. We're going to give it a chamfer. Just take off that hard edge. But we've got a couple of problems starting to show their face over here. Which leads to the question why. So we're going to have a look at the polygon here. And if we look, let's see what's causing the problem. It looks like there's a polygon not welded or something here. Let's have a look. No, we definitely have two polygons there. But what we can do here is we can deselect, and we're going to simplify out the geometry for a moment here. Doesn't matter which way we weld these, so all I'm doing is I'm selecting the point that I want to weld to the point where I want to weld it, and I'm hitting Control W. Now that I've got them all gone, I want to go Control H and tell it to find all two-sided vertices and get rid of them. And it's important we do that. We don't want to leave two-sided vertices laying around. Unless you've actually got a reason for having them. So and we're getting a much better result there. You'll notice we've got some weirdness happening during the bevel over here. That's because this is a non-plane. These are they're angons. So what we want to do is our best to divide them up. Just prevent any issues when we get around to rendering. So we have that one done. Now we've got to do this bigger one. And then we need to sink this hole in and start looking at doing the portal segments for it. But we're going to save. The reason we are doing this all separate to the other parts and we haven't deleted it is just in case we need to go back. If we look here for some reason just then, we've actually got non-merged polygons. So we're going to have a look here. Let's see what's going on. We didn't want to delete, we wanted to hide. Or it could have been that no, we definitely don't have symmetry turned on. See what's happening. If we have a look, we've got two points here. These 2 points are we don't need these 2 points, so what we're going to do is weld that one. Let's grab that one and that one. We want them to weld there. Same process we used before. Select what we want and where we want it to weld to and hit Control W. To speed up our selection of the geometry, we are going to turn symmetry on, because this should be symmetrical. And now we just want to start selecting edges again. Using, of course, the right arrow key to select edge loops. So we can see we may have a problem in here, just here. We'll flip over it and have a look at what's going on here. So we have an extra polygon here. Let's get it welded. Oop, turn symmetry off. Deselect the point. We'll get these welded away now. And we likely have one on the bottom as well. And by the looks of it, we've got another problem happening here. Somehow we had the polygon split. And we can see that by doing this. So we need to do some cleanup. And it's better we do it now than forget and not do it later. So, don't want that polygon, we definitely don't want that polygon. Let this one return, but we have a problem. This one doesn't have a vertex that's needed. So we want to add a point there. And weld. And the problem is we need to fix this. On both sides, but we can actually speed it up slightly. We know this one's right. And we know if we get to this side we can go and it's better you find and correct any mesh errors like this early rather than later. If we added any more detail on this and hadn't caught them, we'd probably be swearing later. Simply because we'd have had a lot more detail. It's just like this isn't a perfect circle. anymore for some reason, if it ever was. So what we're going to do very quickly here, not worried about being perfect on this. The edges are going to be a little out of whack. We do want it the edge facing roughly correct. Otherwise we'll have to go in and do lots of clean up, so we're just carefully rotating, moving. And we're actually going to undo all that because we forgot to turn symmetry on. So we're going to turn symmetry on. That'll let us move these both sides at once, which lets us fix this a little faster. So this lot to there, it goes to there, that comes down to here, that one to there. And there's that fixed. So a couple of mesh errors quickly fixed. Now we go back to edge mode, and we're going to have to reselect all our edges because we've done a lot of work and we've actually switched layers. So 1, 2, select 1, 2, select. We'll have to fix this later. And you may be going, well, why can't I just multi-shift this? You can. That's definitely an option. You could use rounder on it. I prefer not to. That's just my personal taste. Like I said, my personal taste may not match yours or other tutorials you look at. Every person is slightly different. And sorry about that, it was getting a little warm in my lounge room. And now normally I'd have music or like playing while I'm modelling. Because I don't want my audio actually completely removed by YouTube, I'm not. You know, those lovely copyright notice things. So we have the top section here done and selected. We're going to hit Control B and we're going to notice that we've got a problem happening, or a couple of problems happening. One is here. The other is here. And this one's being caused because it can't draw the poly properly. Basically it can't split it. We may be able to fix that with a triple, so let's have a look and see what happens. No, that just majorly makes it worse. So we can't fix it with a triple. We can try instead to run a slice. We just want to select these, the offending polygons. Actually, the offending polygons and everything between them. Like so. Go back to edge mode, and we're going to have to reselect a couple of edges here. Better. But we still have the problem up top here. But that could be being caused because we didn't select all the edges. Nope. Let's try it now. Much better. So yeah, something to be aware of is that this edge bevel really doesn't like three-sided polygons that much. Or tries, as we better know them. The other thing, of course, is I'm purposely beveling out my edges and the like here. I like to have at least a bevel on my edges. It's because it gets rid of the sharp look when we render, especially given we don't have smoothing groups. Hint new tech. If you ever bother looking, we could really do with some smoothing groups. We could use a material shader tied to edges and some bump mapping and smooth them off, but it's just not the same as geometry. Anyway, so we just build up the geometry like so, and what it's doing is it's getting rid of the hard edges that we'd have otherwise. But it does occasionally need some fixing up. Such as if we look here, we have some mixed up, modelled up polygons, but they're not so much mixed up, modelled up as much as just the way the polygon flow was from the extraction has modelled things a little bit. So we're just going to move some points. So now obviously we need to do this for every other one of these surfaces here. Some of them are going to be quicker, or should be quicker. At the same time it can make a liar out of you. You will think something is going to be nice and quick, and instead it turns out to be anything but. Let's get some of these points fixed up before we go back to selecting edges. Now, of course, in doing this, I'm unrounding a couple of my windows, I just realised, so we're actually going to undo it. That's what happens when you're a little sore and you're not thinking 100% straight. So we're likely to end up having problems here, later, but we'll have a look at that in a few moments. Save this again. I just want to check. Geometry along the edges here, which we can see we've got some issues happening. So we want this one, and we're going to grab this and just shift it this way a little bit so we can have a look at what's going on. By the looks of it, it hadn't welded. So we need to come back. We want to deselect wherever point selected. We certainly did not have a weld there. Oop. For some reason. See if we do a merge, if that fixes the problem. Much better. Save that. Now here's where it gets tricky, because we actually did put a bevel on the top of some of these. We don't want to select that upper segment. We just want the lower part. But we need to select all the way up when it comes to corners. Which is why some people opt to do all their beveling after actually extracting all their plate. And to be honest, normally I would too. But I was showing you a method for doing it without. actually over on this view here. Where are we on this view? Just here. Now we get to repeat the process over here. Give this a shot. Looks like it's working okay. And this just leaves this segment here, which we're going to have a similar problem on this piece as we had on this piece up here. So we'll fix it. And fix it now rather than later. So another method you can do is selecting the edges, and I probably should have remembered this one a little earlier, is if we select the edge loop here and go like this, we're left with only the edges that we actually need to select other than the middle sections. So we can actually just go 1, 2, So now we just need to clean up some edge selections and make certain that all the edges that we want selected actually are selected. And that any that we don't want selected are not. Like so. There is the majority of the initial plating done. All that's left to do is our windows here, so we go, these we're actually saying are thrusters, these are windows. So this is a window, this is a window. We'll take a copy of that. I'm just going to scale it in by 1%, bring it in a little bit further and call this inside. And over on this layer, make certain we've got a copy of that. We smooth shift, we bring it in a millimeter. Or we flip it, we paste, and we call this glass. With this top one, we want to smooth shift it down just slightly, copy it, Shift A, give it a small bevel, Q, glass, expand it slightly, and we actually want to do the same with this. So 104 and 104, paste, paste. Don't need that layer anymore, don't need that layer anymore, don't need that layer anymore, and we don't need this layer anymore. So we can paste that, and by going like this and like that, so we have the start of our module, and that's where we're going to leave this tutorial. In the next we'll start building the support struts that come up off the central hub here and join on. Anyway, thanks for watching, my name's Rob and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.